Hello everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. On today's video, I'll be doing a review for the Flashpoint Paradox. This is a DC animated film from 2013, rated PG-13, and with a runtime of an hour and 15 minutes. You can watch this on HBO Max or Max, I guess that's it's called now. As of the recording of this video, I went to check Rotten Tomatoes just to see. There's not a lot of critic reviews, but it does have 100% on the 6 reviews that are on it. And then the audience score, which does have more reviews, has a 93%. So this film has been it was very well received at the time, and is based on a very popular story. And the reason we are revisiting now is because it's one of the stories that inspired the upcoming Flash film, which we will also have a review for, and we'll do a couple of videos. There's a lot to talk about for that film. But in this one, the Flash causes a temporal ripple that creates a fractured reality where the Justice League has never formed, Superman does not exist, and a war wages between Wonder Woman and Aquaman. The Flash teams up with Batman and Cyborg to restore the timeline. This movie is directed by Jay Oliva, who has directed many of the great DC animated films that we know, and written by James Craig, based on the graphic novel by Jeff Jones and Andy Kubert. This movie, I will talk about the main characters. There's so many DC characters, so many recognizable voices, but I'll focus on the ones that to me appeared the most. We have Justin Chambers as Barry Allen the Flash. We also have C. Thomas Howell as Professor Zoom, aka Eobard Thawne, for those that have watched The Flash or read the Flash comics. Also, surprisingly, when I was putting together, Michael B. Jordan stars as Victor Stone, aka Cyborg. And then we have Kevin McKidd as Thomas Wayne, Batman, because Batman in this Flashpoint world is Thomas Wayne. So first of all, I just gotta say I'm a big fan of the story from the comics, and I was a big fan of this film when it came out. I wanted to revisit it because, like I said, it is all about the Flash and Flashpoint at the moment. So I figured it'd be something cool for the channel. I gotta tell you, and this movie has one of my favorite just cold opens of any of the DC animated films. We have a heist at the Flash Museum, and that's kind of where things kick off. So it's really, really interesting how we introduce the world that Barry Allen knows and everyone around him just to kind of be taken away in as we kick off the film. So this movie takes the audience on a really interesting journey throughout the DC universe, and it explores a lot of things, including the consequences of altering the past. It delves into a deep concept of the butterfly effect and where a small change in history could lead to a dramatic and catastrophic ripple through time and space. So the film is very good at portraying that the responsibility and the unintended consequences of those actions. We also have another standout aspect of the film is just the commitment to how dark and brutal the tone of the film is. It doesn't shy away from showcasing the grim realities of this ultra reality. This narrative kind of delves into the tragedies that shape the lives of the characters here, unraveling their backstories and revealing the depth of their pain. This level of kind of like brutal violence and dark tonality of the story, it just makes the characters feel a little bit more poignant, and their struggles feel a little bit more like they carry a little bit more weight, which is really interesting. This was a time where DC was pivoting into doing a little bit more of I don't want to say like just unnecessary violence, but definitely stepping it up a notch with the violence in the animated films. They definitely were not just aiming to have this for kids, although it is a PG-13 film. So there's also some really excellent action sequences that are just kind of frenzied, and it's just a spectacle that you would expect from a comic book film, that really complement the intense narrative. Just some battles that explore this new world, new powers, and all these characters. The animation just captures the sheer power and the speed of the Flash, which makes the film really exciting as we kind of get to that point. So, and while this film presents a darker, more violent tone than the traditional animated DC films, it doesn't really rely on just gratuitous violence for shock value. Instead, it's all really part of this new world that we built in to emphasize the gravity of the actions of these characters and the consequences to follow. So I think that really adds a little bit more weight to the story. So it was a really interesting exploration of how these unintended consequences will affect someone. Um, I gotta say, as somebody that has read the comics, the loyalty to the source material, it's a very praiseworthy aspect of this adaptation. Um, I was just delighted to see how much straight from the comics the film was adapted, and not just the original source material, not just the standalone graphic novel, but they really did a good job trying to implement so many little things that were only explored in the tie-in series. So at the point of Flashpoint, we had the main series, but we also stopped all DC books, and there was so many tie-in series exploring the world of Flashpoint and the changes and how things were different. And I think this film did the best that it could to incorporate so many of the stories into just a less than 1.5 hour narrative. There's so many little Easter eggs, so many cool cameos and appearances. I think you'll be really interested to see how maybe your favorite how many of your favorite characters in the DC universe are portrayed in this new Flashpoint film. So that's really cool. Also, the voice cast is amazing. I love going back and hearing some of these actors. And like I said, I was surprised that Michael B. Jordan was Cyborg. Uh, Not because it's bad or anything, just because it was surprising that I didn't know that Michael B. Jordan had that sort of skill set in his repertoire. Very interesting that this was kind of a stop on his journey to what he's become now. And then we also get some classic voices as well. Like Kevin Conroy. It was really nice to hear him portray Batman in the opening sequence, as we do see Bruce Wayne Batman. So I think this movie is just kind of a testament of the power of the animated storytelling, how you can really push the boundaries, especially at the time when it came out in 2013. Um, DC animated films, I don't know that they were always kind of doing this kind of stuff and just presenting some more mature topics and a little bit more of a thought provoking narrative. So if you're a fan of the original comic series, or you just want to enjoy an animated film to kind of prepare for the Flash, I think this dark and brutal masterpiece is not to be missed. It'll captivate you. I think it'll shock you, and I think you'll have overall a good time, especially if you're not familiar with the story. I think there's so many fun surprises along the way. So I really enjoyed this one. This one's one of my favorite DC animated films, and I had a really good time revisiting it. So if you've seen this film, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments. If not, I recommend you do go watch it. As always, thank you for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Saturdays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. Stay tuned. We have more comic reviews, trailer reactions, TV recaps, all that fun stuff here in the channel. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye bye.